Hi and welcome back to the cottage. Today I'm going to be sharing some thoughts on how to create a cozy yet clutter-free home. When I talk about minimalism and simple living, I will on occasion get a comment from someone who says they really like the idea of decluttering and simplifying and getting rid of the excess, but they're worried that they're going to be left with nothing and they can't bear the thought or the idea of living in a home that is boring or stark or lacks personality and color. I actually believe that one of the biggest myths about the minimalist lifestyle has to do with the aesthetic of it, because people who make comments such as this are likely used to seeing the industrial, more man-made, clean-lined spaces that minimalism was known for when the popularity of this lifestyle was first introduced. Now, though, with more people recognizing the benefits of minimalism and wanting to live a more simple life that is intentional, I think that the style and the aesthetic that goes along with minimalism have kind of evolved quite a bit. People are shying away from that all-white, sharp line, man-made look and starting to add in more of a human element to it. In fact, there is a recent interior design trend that is very popular right now called warm minimalism. Now, I've said before, I do not claim to be a design expert. I don't follow the trends. I tend to just decorate my home in a way that feels natural to me. And instead of trying to stay in line with a specific style by following all the rules and checking all the boxes, I instead am just looking to create a space that is comfortable and relaxing for myself and my family. So even though you could consider my house to be in the warm minimalist style, I didn't set out to make it that way. But if you like the way that the inside of our home looks and you want to achieve something similar for yourself, here are 7 ways to add comfort and style to your spaces without the clutter. Number 1, strive for a more collected look. The great thing about minimalism is that it really teaches you to be intentional and thoughtful about the things that you decide to surround yourself with. And it allows you to slow down a little bit and make those decisions more thoughtfully instead of just rushing out to find decor because you feel like a wall looks bare or you feel like your couch needs something or you need a new rug and you just rush out and buy any old thing to fill your space. You're instead being much more thoughtful, and in turn your spaces and your home overall are going to be much more personal, much more reflective of your own styles and tastes. It's okay to take your time and slow down and add in things that bring you happiness and comfort as you're able to and as your finances will allow. There's no rule that says your home needs to be perfectly polished all at once. It's okay to let it evolve over time. Another great way that I have found to add style and comfort to a home without adding clutter is to start to incorporate more live edge material, items that are rounded or curved. Now, though there are exceptions, most homes are very straight lined. We've got flat walls, we have sharp corners, it's very, very angular. And this actually goes against our human nature to surround ourselves with this. We are a very curvy being, and so having items in our home that reflect that makes it more personal and inviting. These forms can be added in a variety of ways. It could be a sculptural piece of furniture that you incorporate or a round rug. Anywhere that you can add in some curved elements to kind of break up that massive amount of straight lines that you have in your home naturally is a good idea. And while the curves do add that comforting feeling that I mentioned, they also can be quite stylish as well. Number 3 is to focus on lighting. Now, natural lighting reigns supreme in my book. In fact, so much so that we designed our living room to have an entire wall of windows that are facing the east, so we don't get a lot of direct sunlight in them, but it's a very nice, soft light. There is something about daylight that just really speaks to our souls and adds that comfort, and it really just helps to brighten everything up as well. Now, of course, there are going to be times when you have a space that doesn't have a lot of windows, or the windows are really small, or there is in a corner of the house that just doesn't get a lot of sunlight. And in those cases, focus on getting some really good high quality lighting, some overhead lighting, some lamps. You can play around with different ideas there. Adding candles even is another way to incorporate light and adding that comfort. I think our souls just crave light. We crave this feeling of the warm glow just kind of surrounding us. And anytime that you can add in more light, it's really going to elevate your style and comfort in your home. The Warm Minimalism Design Playbook would tell you that warm, earthy tones are favorable for comfort and style over the cooler tones of traditional minimalism. Now, when it comes to the traditional minimalist aesthetic, they were focused more on the man-made materials such as metal and glass and concrete blocks. So the grays and the cool whites and the blacks, those were all colors that were very, very identifiable and used a lot in traditional minimalism aesthetics. With warm minimalism, they tend to focus more on the natural colors, the browns and the greens and the tans, and these types of colors that really are found in nature as well. We honestly have a variety of colors here in our home. I prefer the white, bright walls and ceiling to allow that natural daylight to come in and really just bounce around and fill the space. But we do have a very earthy, darker brown flooring color that I think helps to really ground the space and just make it feel a little bit more permanent and solid. And you can play around with colors. The great thing about it is that you can do it very inexpensively. You can try it out with paint, you can try color out with accessories, with textiles, lots of different ways to incorporate color into your home and add that style and comfort. And going along with those earthy, neutral tones, adding natural elements into your space can really help to add comfort and style. This can also be achieved in a variety of ways, whether you're looking at the finishes of your home and opting for a more true, natural hardwood flooring versus a peel and stick, for example, or if you're choosing between a wool rug or a synthetic one. Anytime that you can incorporate the true natural element, it's going to just really add that extra bit of style and comfort for you. We can also add natural elements through our home decor. Houseplants are a big one. People love their houseplants. They come in all shapes and sizes. They bring life and energy into a home. They help the air quality. They're just all around really great. Bringing in fresh flowers when the season is right, adding that little spark of color to your space. Even in the winter months that are a little bit dreary, having pine cones or branches in your home, there's something about those natural elements that really help us to feel connected to nature. We can feel them, we can touch them, we can interact with them, and we are constantly kind of interacting with nature in that way. The sixth way to add style and comfort to your home without adding clutter is to accent with textures. Texture has a really interesting quality about it. Even though when you look at it close up, it might seem very busy, overall it doesn't add a lot of visual clutter to a space. And so you can get by with adding more of it even in a small room. The other interesting thing about texture is it can be used as a backdrop or as an accent depending on how you want it to go. So shiplap is a really popular texture right now that is very common in many homes. It's simple, it's very straight lined, but it just adds that little bit of visual interest to a space. We can find texture in objects such as baskets, in textiles such as blankets and pillows, even in chippy paint. So you might not think about chippy paint items like furniture items as having texture, but even that little undulation of colors that you see in a chippy paint item can add texture and variety. And finally, my favorite way to add style and comfort to a home without adding clutter is to leave room for surprises. Now, as I said at the beginning of this video, people who are concerned with having a home that is too boring and there's no interest in it just because you're a minimalist, I wholeheartedly disagree with that statement because as a minimalist family, we feel like our home is very fun. It has very many surprises within it, and we are able to incorporate those without adding the clutter. For example, we like to have our art displayed in a more curated gallery type format. We have a couple of areas in our home where we change out the art depending on the season, depending on the decor style that we're going for. And every time that we switch out these items, it brings a new excitement to our home. It brings a new variety to our home. These are pieces that we love. These are pieces that we have been collecting through the years, and we really just enjoy seeing them out. We We also have pops of color throughout our spaces that add that visual interest, that add that excitement. And the great thing again about minimalism is that you have room for the things that you love. And so maybe you have this really quirky collection of things that you feel like you can't keep because you're a minimalist. That's not true. You can keep it, you can display it. You have room for it because you've gotten rid of all the extra stuff that you didn't love. A warm minimalist interior has room for items that are there simply because we want them there. We enjoy them. Not everything has to be functional or purposeful. I hope that this list proves to you that you can add style and comfort to your home without adding the clutter. You don't need to go out and just buy things just to fill up your spaces. You can be intentional about it, be thoughtful about it, and add these features without bringing in a bunch of things. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I hope that you'll stop by the cottage again really soon.